Hello, welcome to meteoriteglobal. This is the Python crash course. This is chapter number 2, part 1. This chapter is divided into 4 parts. Two of them are taught by me. I am Harsh Arora. I am Harsh Arora. I am 15 years old. I am sophomore. I love to code. I have been doing it for the past 3 to 4 years. I have taught myself this, and now I'm also learning CCNA and E+. This is for networking and basically helps you become an ethical hacker. I am a CTO, Chief Technology Officer at Meteorite Global. So if you want to learn CCNA, A+, ethical hacking, or just the, just the basics of ethical hacking, do leave a message down in the comment section. Also, the notes for the lecture 1 are in the description below, and if you haven't watched the first lecture, they should be a pop-up right about now to the top right corner. Awesome, let's get started. So you might think what we're going to learn in this chapter. In this chapter you learn about the different kinds of data types that you can work within your Python programs. You'll also learn how to use variables to represent data in your programs. Awesome, I hope you understand this much. If you have any doubts, do write those down in the comment section. And if you have any issues, if I'm teaching too fast, too slow, please do let me know. Awesome, let's get started then. So you might be wondering like how or what really happens when you run this file hello world.py. First of all, it checks, like it sees, when it sees that .py is present, it knows that it's a Python file, and the interpreter then goes line by line checking and then running your file. So when you print hello Python world, it should give you an output something like this. That's awesome. That's great. I think you've seen this many of times. The basic thing to do when you are learning a language is to have like a hello world or hello Python world, any of these files, because this is the base of learning that language. Awesome. Now let's get to the topic. This chapter or this part of the chapter is based on variables. So we'll learn about the basics of variables. So now that you have made the file hello world.py, so now add line and write this message hello Python world. So what this does is whatever is in the parentheses here is stored as your value in this variable, right, in the message variable. And when you print this message, it will print the value stored in the variable. But do keep in mind, if you add parentheses here, over here and over here, it will take it as a word, like it will print message instead of hello Python world. So you have to be careful about this. Like this is a very rare incident to occur, but yes, do keep in mind. Awesome. Now expanding your program. Now add some lines to that. And first, in the start, we just wrote message hello Python world. Now print that message and change the value of that message. Now I have changed the value of this message to hello Python crash course world. So when I print this message, you will get the second value the second time, and if you print it, the first one gives you the first value. This is really surprising, and this is very interesting as a topic, because with Python you can really you know take note of, or you can keep track of the current values. So that is like a really good benefit while using Python. But yes, Python is comparatively slow than other languages. You have to keep that in mind. And if somebody tells you to code in Java, please leave that person or that company. Naming and using variables. Okay, now this is a good one. When you're naming, you need to adhere to a few rules. There are a few rules and guidelines. Breaking them will cause you errors. I will talk more about these errors in the coming slides. So let's keep the base. All right. So Be sure to keep in mind the following variable rules in mind. Be sure to keep these rules in mind, whenever you're coding or writing a program. So, okay, so these can contain letters, number, and underscores, but they have to start with an underscore or a letter. They cannot start with a number. It can be underscore one, but not one underscore. Like it can be message underscore one or underscore message one, but it cannot be one underscore message. That is completely wrong as per the rules of Python. So, sorry. Yes. So spaces are not allowed. Just like these names we type in Instagram, no spaces, just underscores. So if you need to use a space, you can just substitute that with an underscore. I know it's not convenient, but that's what you have to do because spaces are really hard to keep track of, and it's the person who made Python is a genius. I don't want to say anything else. All right, let's get to the next point. Avoid using Python keywords as function name in variables. So that is a real problem. Some people use like print or any other function name as the name of your variable. But that causes some severe problem because when interpreting, the Python interpreter goes line by line while checking that if it takes that variable as a function, it will cause you error. So please keep that in mind. Also, Python variable names can be grammatically incorrect, but they have to have a consistent spelling. You have to keep this in mind. All right, they have to have a consistent spelling. If you write the name of the first variable as MESAGE instead of MESSAGE, then you have to continuously use MESAGE because that's how you roll in Python. And if you change that to MESSAGE, that completely changes the value of that variable. Also, if you use MESSAGE, all small, and if you use in the next line all caps, it will still not work because the value of that variable has changed. Not the value, but the name has changed. So it will not consider that and it will just give you an error. Okay. Also be careful while using I and O because they can be confused with 1 and 0 while debugging by you. Please keep that in mind. Awesome. Let's move ahead. If you want to take notes, please pause this video, take notes, take screenshots, no problems. Also, all right, we have already talked about this. Every programmer makes mistakes. Even I do. Like when I'm writing a 2000 or 3000 line Python code, sometimes I misspell a variable, and that causes me like an hour, 15 minutes, sometimes 1.5 hours to just find where that problem is. I know you get traceback calls, like you get errors, you get a traceback message. We'll talk about this in the coming slides. So, you know, don't be arrogant, like, I know I can fix this. No, you just, if you are unable to fix that, just Google it, search it up. It'll be a much easier way to get your answers. Okay, moving on. So, like I told you, there's a traceback message. Whenever you have a message error, you'll have a message something like this. All right, traceback most recent call, last file. So this is your file. In line 2, you had an error, print message. So here message is not defined. Maybe you misspelled it. Maybe you did not assign a variable and just printed it. So there can be many reasons for this. So of course now, like as I told you, if you write like grammatically, if it is wrong, you have to continuously use that. And while the Python interpreter or the debugger basically does not check your grammar, so it won't tell you that the spelling is wrong, it will just tell you there is some problem. That is very hard to sometimes like look at when you're having like a very long code and you just have to scan through it very fast. You miss this very frequently, like you have to be very thorough. So when you consistently misspell it or consistently use the wrong spelling, it will run successfully. Awesome. So there is obviously a life lesson hidden. Programming languages are strict, but they disregard good and bad spelling. So, like, if you want to pursue programming, your spelling does not necessarily be good. You don't have to have a good grasp of spelling, but yes, you need to be consistent in what you type. Like, as I previously told you, if you are using MESAGE, continuously use that MESAGE. You cannot change that to MESSAGE midway and then expect Python to change it, right? So many programming errors are simple single character typos. If you're spending a long time searching for one of these errors, know that you're not, you're in good company. Many experienced and talented programmers spend hours hunting down these kind of tiny errors. Try to laugh about it, move on, knowing it will happen frequently throughout your programming life. I know I have had these in every program I've ever written, not the ones hello world Python. Like if I want to build like something like a DO script, I have like hundreds of those, because when I'm typing half of them I'm very sleep deprived, so I don't know what I'm typing most of the time. Like the spellings are really messed up. All right, moving on. To conclude, you just need to know that variables are labels. These are labels that you can store values into. You can consider them as a box that you can swap values. You can change the values mid program. You can, do anything with that. So basically, you think it of as a box. Change values, store values. It can do it, but it's kind of an accurate way. But I'll give you a better explanation coming on. So also I have some homework for you guys. So try these yourself, take a screenshot, pause this video. And also while I am teaching, if you are able to do what I'm teaching side by side. So it will give you like a really good practical hand at what you're doing. So I think this is it. This is it for today. I'll see you in the next one. So the next one is still taught by me, and the other two are taught by Sanskriti. You might have, met her in the first lecture. All right. So I'll take my leave. Thank you very much.